we're doing on the homestead today is we're going to take some steak here that I have. I vacuum sealed them because I buy the meat in bulk and cut it up myself. I have some dehydrated garlic, some onion powder, garlic powder, some peppercorns, some crushed chilies, some salt, some red and green peppers, some mozzarella shredded cheese, and onions, some mushrooms, and some regular hamburger buns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defrost these, and then I'm going to bring you back and we're going to cut them up into strips, because what we're going to make is steak and cheese on a bun. So this is my version of it anyway, and we also have a bag of gravy mix here. Now I can make the gravy from scratch, but the purpose of this video is to show that anybody, even people that can't cook, can make a great meal, because there is products that you can use to do that. So I'll just bring it back. What we're going to do now is we're going to take that meat, and I prefer to do mine when it's still a little stiff instead of all the way thawed out, because it's easier to cut up in strips, and it's also easier to cut the fat off that way. So that's however you want to do it. It's your kitchen. We're cooking together. And this is going to be something that anybody can make. So I'm just going to cut the steak up into strips. I'm going to cut those in half too, because they're a little thick, right? I cut these steaks for barbecue, but it's kind of getting cold. And as much as I love barbecue in the winter, it's I'm really busy with school and stuff. So we're just going to cut the rest of this up, and I'll bring you back when I have them all in strips. So, just fast forward till then. We now have our strips done, and as you can see, we have them all done. And I just wanted to show how much fat we were able to cut off of that. So you don't want to eat fat, so we're going to take this over to the stove, and we're going to bring it into a skillet, and I'll bring you back. The heat on medium, and we're going to add in the strips in. So I'm going to add in water, and normally I wouldn't. Normally I would just brown it, but because I'm using dehydrated ingredients such as garlic and the peppers, I'm going to have to add in water to rehydrate those. So plus it'll let the strips get actually a little bit tender. So we're just going to continue to add these in. I'll bring you back when we're pouring the water in. We're just going to put about a cup or so in. Yeah, about a cup. And I'll just bring you back once it starts to cook up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the spices, and we're going to add those in right now. Just going to sprinkle in my spices in the bowl. That way I don't have to try to see what I'm doing above the stove. It gets pretty steamy over there. So I'm adding about 1/4 of each in. Now you can add in your own spice. Now remember, it's not my kitchen. We're just cooking together. It's your kitchen. I'm just giving ideas, suggestions. But overall, you're the one who's going to have to eat it. So if you don't like something, don't put it in. So now peppercorn. We're going to put a lot of peppercorn in, because it seems to go really well with this meal. So I'm just going to, I would say maybe a little tiny smidge more. Okay, so we're just going to bring this over to the stove and add it in. We're just going to add that in now. It's now time for the garlic. And again, this is dehydrated garlic. I did a video on showing how to store it for long-term use if you want to check it out. And of course, I have some peppers. Now I have red peppers, green peppers, and of course yellow. And I'm just going to grab some out of the jar. And I also made a video on how to make these as well, and how to store them. And so check that out if you want. So I'm just going to break up a couple more, and we're going to put them in, and I'll bring you back once it cooks up. As you can see, it looks starting to look delicious. The peppers are starting to hydrate again, and we're going to add in the onions and mushrooms now. So I'm just going to get those. So now the mushrooms, and we're not actually going to add a lot of mushrooms in. We're just going to add a little bit in. And some onions.
And the reason we put those in last is because they didn't need to rehydrate. So I'll just bring you back after they're cooked up a little bit. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in some gravy, and that'll make the sauce. And I'm just whisking it in so it doesn't go in clumpy. Now, I would use probably a mid to probably thick. I wouldn't do too thick, but I wouldn't do too thin either, because it is going on buns, and if the gravy's too thin on the buns, it'll just make the buns gross. So you want a thick gravy. So I'll just start to thicken this up, and I'll bring you back. I preheat the oven to 375 here. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the buns and we're just going to spread them out a little bit, and then we're going to toast them just like that. Just like that. So I have 2 of them here done. I'm going to put them in the oven once the oven cools up or heats up, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So I'll bring you back. Just going to put the buns in the oven and toast them up a little bit just before we stuff them. That way they'll not break when we do that. When your mixture's done, this is what it's going to look like. So we're just waiting for our buns to toast, and then I'll show you what next. Now our buns are toasted. Now we didn't want to toast them till they were actually crispy. We just wanted a light toast. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our mixture and we're going to use a slatted spoon, and then we're going to put it inside the bun. And then we're going to add cheese. So I'm just going to continue to fill the buns, and I'll bring you back. So we're just going to take some shredded cheese. Now whatever kind you like is whatever kind I suggest you use. And I'm just going to continue covering them cheese, and I'll bring you back. We just put them in the oven, so I'll bring you back when the cheese is melted. Came out of the oven, and I wanted to cut a piece and show you what it looks like. Absolutely delicious. So, like, subscribe, and see, anybody can be a cook if they have the right ideas or the right suggestions and the right ingredients. Remember, it's not my kitchen, we're just cooking together. Enjoy your day.